It means a lot. Obviously, going to Wichita Falls 3 years ago, leap of faith to start a new expansion franchise and put together a good group of players, and we're able to create a culture that we're really proud of. And to be able to make it to this event with all the hard work our guys have put forth all season is pretty cool to see them get rewarded for everything that they've done.
Take us to that first day as an expansion team, that first pre-draft camp. Now, all the things you guys have gone through to get to this point, what does it take, like you said, to build that culture and to build that foundation, and now seeing kind of the fruits you're able to pay off to getting to this point, being 3 wins away from a championship?
You know what? It was interesting, right? Because it was right in the middle of COVID, so a lot of the scouting was done over video. Our staff put a lot of work into trying to create a culture of high character, hardworking players. We were fortunate with some of the breaks that we got with players coming back to our league because other leagues weren't playing, and so we were able to evolve and formulate our roster to having success in that first season. That was really important to kind of create that culture and to have success right away. You've seen franchises as expansion teams struggle that first year, and then it's hard to really kind of continue the scouting process and build a really impactful competitive roster. And so fortunately we had success that first year, and we have 5 guys that were part of that first team that made it all the way to the division finals. So have a lot of experience, and it's something that through the 3 years from Wichita Falls, we had a ton of support there. They've come over on board to Oklahoma City, which is only a couple hours away, and we've been able to create a really good culture and been embraced by the Oklahoma City community. And so we have 2 fan bases that are rooting for us, and it's been really special this year to see it all come together.
That roster you mentioned, you got the 5 guys that have been here since year 1. You've added a couple of pretty decent pieces, the Rookie of the Year and MVP. Mm-hmm. So, talk about that depth of having those veteran guys and adding that group of younger guys that is able to make you guys solid, top to bottom.
One of the things that we try to do as an organization, as a team, is try to build a team that's really deep. We want to make sure that every player on our roster is a big part of our team. They're an impactful role on our hockey team, and so to be able to bring first-year guys in that have made such a difference for us has really elevated us to where we're at right now, being able to compete for the Robertson Cup. And so our veterans, our leadership group, the guys that have been here since day one, and the veterans that had the 2 years experience, our younger guys were able to lean on them, learn from them, and I think the biggest thing for our group this year was the competitive maturity. Our guys just really understood that over the course of a season you're going to deal with a lot of adversity, and to control what you can control and not allow your emotions to get the better of you. And I think that's helped us really navigate through a pretty tough season, full of ups and downs, and put us in a position here to be one of the 4 that can compete.
Talk about the long season. You guys got off to a really hot start. You didn't lose at home for what felt like forever. Toward the end of the year, you kind of had some bumps and kind of hovered around kind of 500 hockey, but then the playoffs, you kind of just flipped the switch and turned it on. What can you attribute to that success and being able to turn another gear when the playoffs started?
And we did have a good start around Christmas time. We were faltering a little bit. January 1st, our team kind of took ownership of it within that locker room, and we kind of set our goals for what we wanted at the end of the season and how we were going to be able to get to that point. And our captains and our veterans led the ship. As a coaching staff, it was pretty easy to work with this group because they came to practice, they worked, they competed every single day. They were eager to learn, they were eager to get better. And then we did falter a little bit towards the end of the season. After we had clinched, we had some injuries. We wanted to allow some guys a little extra time to get prepared for playoffs. We kind of rebooted a little bit a month before playoffs, and we went back through a training camp. So our guys got after it pretty hard for a good 3 weeks there prior to playoffs, because we were trying to get ourselves prepared for playoff hockey, knowing that games can go into 3-4 overtimes. Wanted to make sure that the legs were there, and our guys understood that even when you're fatigued, you still have to mentally bring it. And so fortunately, we were able to turn it on in playoffs. We struggled a little bit down the stretch, But that, I think, is part of this group and their maturity, and our leadership group knowing that, you know, when it really matters, our guys are ready to go.
I'll get you out of here on this. Minnesota, obviously you don't play them in the regular season. What do you know about them? What do you look to exploit, and how do you see this? How do you get yourself into the final on Tuesday?
They're a well-coached team, you know what, and they're a fast team. They are a really good puck possession team, transition. You know, all 4 teams that are here kind of have their identity as a team, and they play to their strengths, and the coaches are able to identify what their weaknesses are and kind of help alleviate some of those issues that they run into against other opponents. So I think the biggest thing is we have to get to our brand of hockey as quickly as possible, compete, play the game to our style, and try to dictate the pace right from the get-go. And I think if we're able to do that, we're going to put ourselves in a nice spot.